Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, everybody. I'm your host, Sir Stephen Topham, the third at your service. I apologise for that, but there you go. There's a blank screen anyway. Here we go. We're going to talk about Beacon of Hope. A lot of you may understand that my Steam team are very powerful this time. We come back for hope. We're the good guys. The Steam team has always been there, day by day, every day for you. And night, even that. When you think about me, Sir Stephen Topham at the third, walks with eyes and ears everywhere. So does Thomas, Edward, Henry, Gordon, and James and Percy, Toby, Duck, and the rest of the steam fleet. You start to realise why we come back for so long. A lot of us have heroes among us. You know, I walked getting sidetracked a little bit, but I want you to understand it from the way it's been unfolded to you, right? With a lot of you that may not fully understand this, this is realistic. This is not a children's program. This has been realistic for a very, very long time. And what a lot of people don't realise is that we always been watching over you all since you were children to adults, vice versa to vice versa. We never have harmed anyone in anyone's life, but we always stood for truth and justice, as well as giving out the hope that the people need, not want. And when people feel like the STEAM team is everywhere, we are everywhere. So it's a diesel team, which who I do not associate with. And a lot of you that know the Steam team really well, and myself, obviously, being included, day after day after day, I've been trying to get my fleet in order. Hope is what inspires us to do the right thing for truth and justice. But at the same time, we are what you will call what is unfolding now is the third generation of the Thomas and Friends franchise. A lot of people might think, what? What is he talking about? Let me put this in perspective, right? Like my mother did, protect the person she loves and then also inspire hope. At the same time, the, the, me being the fact controller, third gen, blood related and all, it's a gift for everybody, not just for my mother. So when I step into the light and giving you that hope, we're not vigilantes. We don't even have a vigilante registration act or anything like that because it doesn't work like that with us. So in same in layman terms, you know, the world needs a fact controller without any hesitation, without any doubt. But when you look at it, you're asking yourself, why do we need a steam team? Why do we need a diesel team? To keep the Thomas franchise alive. Now, if we try and kill it off, which we won't, it will be like murder. Straight off, right? And it would not do any of us, some justice. The steam team has been the good guys. The diesel team are the bad guys, right? When we fight for what we need, want, or do, diesels want, steamies need. There's two different ways of saying it, right? A friend of mine, a private connection, who you all know as Christopher Reeve and Barbara Reeve and their children, Matthew Reeve and his sister, and it all coordinates. And when I say beacon of hope, right, I had a private connection. I have another private connection in Smallville, and I actually paid attention to this one, of course. James Masters, who plays Brainiac 5. Now, a lot of you know Brainiac for starters, obviously being the clever clogs, right? Brainiac 5 said, we can't always see it within our own selves. You have to use somebody else's eyes to guide you. So, when he was showing me as example, right, my grandfather on my mother's side of the family died on the 13th of October 2004. But that was not the only casualty on the field, right? On October the 19th, 1934, my great uncle Herbert's brother died on the railway line on the middle of the Great Northern Joint Railway, what you would call the North Western Railway Company, upside down. He put his neck on the line and killed himself, right? But my grandfather on my mother's side of the family died of prostate cancer, which is not pleasant. I was there through his life, right? After my great uncle's brother died on October the 19th, 1934, a year later, my grandfather's grandfather, which is Sir Topham Hatt Sr., died in 1935 in June. So, if you calculated it all correctly, the rise of the Hat's beacon of hope is to inspire people to do the right thing, not the wrong thing. You know, so the STEAM team is at your disposal, and we are ready. We are hoping that when you got a diesel team running the Norfolk Railway, as example, right? A lot of people say good versus evil always don't always. The evil side does not always win, right? They are lying, deceitful. They could put a gun to your head, normally to a point. But as my friend stated in America, he said quite a few things on the very first video, which I won't go into details with. But it made a valid point that we are trying to inspire people to accept our way of life, our way of living, and the way we are been given the gift of a lifetime. But every generation, the Hats have to get married and have their own kids to get the fourth and the fifth generation of the Hat family. So, you got done with the first generation, you done with the second generation, you got me, third generation, then you got two more to light up, right? And then everybody's asking the biggest question of all, why the diesel team? Why we have to get rid of them? It doesn't work. You know, they're evil. Some of them, a lot of diesels that I have passed by, right? I'm going to tell you one of them as it is getting to a point where it's getting realistic to a point. When I am in full control, I know exactly what's going on up there without me trespassing on their property, right? They know they are the wrong. That's for starters, right? The steam team is on standby. The diesel team are doing havoc to a point, and you're ending up losing. The diesel team has ended up losing. Why? As I know, you know how it all works with homecoming, the beacon, and quite obviously that, right? I was born out of love, but also had a bigger purpose in life, right? A lot of things, as I stated in quite a couple videos ago, I stated to you all that I had a higher purpose in life. A lot of people might think this is not a joke. It isn't a joke. A lot of people that know me now, I don't are part of the Steam team or not part of my connection. They're part of the connection, but they're not a full time connection where I see them on an everyday basis. So when you've got a diesel team trying to ruin the North Norfolk Railway's reputation, just leave it alone. You know, you're gonna end up realizing they're gonna end up spoiling it for everyone else. And the stories that were told from children to adult to children, vice versa, reverse, going down the line, and you're reading through those books, and you're actually going back to the 15th century, 18th century, 19th century, and it adds on and on. And a lot of people start to pick up pieces, clues, answers, and then they add a pattern in your head. If you do feel that you feel like the Steam team are trying to help you out, while the Diesel team are trying to throw you all out. So, with a beacon of hope, we try to establish the Steam team are heroes among the whales, especially around the world. 8 billion against the North Norfolk Railways. 8 billion. They may have said, oh, we go on this railway line because we came to Norfolk. But when they come in, they don't get the respect they deserve. So the steam team have to clear up all the diesel's mess. Why? Because we end up clearing out what they got scrubbed under the carpet. We clear it out throughout. So let's take a diesel called Sydney, right? Who is very forgetful but very hardworking, right? I won't give out his real name, but I know who he is, right? He sits in the office and does bugger all because he can't sort his own problems out, right? He's a bit like me, but with the only plot twist is that he's on the diesel side. I'm on the steamy side. Why is that? Well, if we all look at it, beacon of hope shines the light on the world, where darkness brings hatred, violence, crime, all of it in one bucket, and then you're ending up exploding all of it what you don't need. So the Steam team and myself have to give you all this beacon of hope, to give you support, acknowledgement that we are the cleverest intelligent beings on the planet. Some of some of some of my fleet don't even realise they got the gift and realise they're part of the franchise. But it was all written in black and white to begin with. So when you reverse everything and go forward again, a lot of people ask me, why is engine number 22 on the North Norfolk Railway right now so bloody important? This engine in particular is not a human engine. This is the engine that we use on the North Norfolk Railway that is connected to Wild Northwestern's timeline. Now, a lot of you might think, where's the steam team? Where's the steam team? We are here. The disadvantage on me is that the North Norfolk Railway are not cutting loose to say, I am sorry. We are sorry that we booted you out. Your time's up. We will let you back on the premises. And a lot of the thing is that beacon of hope shines on everybody to say there's hope. There's always hope. The fan controller has to go back on the North Norfolk Railway property to sort everything out. That includes all the steam team on top of that. But what's happened? Sydney hasn't dropped his guards yet, nor has his diesel team. So we are waiting. We are giving people hope. The steam team are on standby. We are really uproaring to get going. We're not bad guys. The diesel team have lost their way because they've been giving out orders by who they think they higher up. The hats are higher up than them. So when you got a hat that's been booted out of the North Norfolk Railway, they discriminated a person that's higher up than them. So what happens in the end? The beacon of hope is still at the above. We want to, like a lot of people would say, if they were advertising themselves a little bit more or viewing their point. What you do for the city or what do you do for the town? You're giving people hope again. But your coffee's not worth it here. It's free charge for you because you've given everybody light to look forward, to go forward. Don't look back because everything we progress now is going forward. We're not going back. We may know the past, we know the present, but I also know the future as well. So when they got an engine that's got number 22 written on it, while the rest is timeline connection. The other thing that I want to bring up while we talk about Beacon of Hope, what has become of Kirk Rowland to Vickerstown branch line, which is basically Handstanton to King's Lynn. Now, that railway line should be building right now. What's the setback on that? And people want hope on that too. The steam team was on the ready and on the go, but it's all there in black and white, isn't it? For everyone else. So why is it been set back? The diesel team think they are winning. They are losing. Every diesel that drops down, a new steam locomotive just comes into the shops or comes out into the area. So when you look, why is these steam trains coming back? Because the diesels are falling. So when you got a diesel team, which you call Sydney, the manager of the North Norfolk Railway at this present time, who's very forgetful. Then you had Davis Diesel and his wife, and Daisy on top of that. They're all fading out one by one by one, but just give it a little bit more hope. So when you go on the platform, just remember the fire controller that you want or need is just only 5 minutes down the road. I could easily go up there and sort their butts out. But if I do that, it makes me look bad, but then it makes them evenly as bad because they misled the cops. So the beacon of hope is to show that we care. You know, the steam team are not the bad guys. I may have solved a few problems here and everything else. A lot of people say, what what can we do right now? For all the world out there, 8 billion people plus the UK and the United States and Australia, to think if Australia was living in the UK as well and the United States, right, was in the UK as well, and witnessing everything that was unfolding, they would have got all their truth on the silver platter. Right? At this moment, the beacon of hope is the key element of the embodiment. It's not like Brainiac 5 acknowledging to Clark Kent and saying to him, you're pulling yourself down because you've got a burden on yourself. It's not because of me, no. But he's acknowledging that he's acknowledging to me that the future will be okay. That will be up forward, up going, and up forward to tense. But it does come with hard work, which a lot of people don't see in while they're out and about. They are always stuck in their offices and don't even realise what's happening in the outside of the world. They don't really acknowledge what is unfolding. You've got probably out of all the programs that are running at the moment in real life, it's The Bill, Murder She Wrote, Thomas the Tank, and Star Trek. And even that, on top of that, is Smallville. And this is why I bought the video called The Beacon of Hope, because it has to establish itself. The STEAM team is the embodiment of hope, right? Hope is what we want. Hope for the future. Hope for the best we can expect from ourselves and what we are able to accomplish every day of our lives. But Thomas and Friends is realistic now. So is Smallville. So is Star Trek. So is The Bill. So is Murder She Wrote. They all connected. Even Star Trek. So when we look at ourselves, how many people have you actually come across and realised there was a bigger mystery, a little bit of mystery there, but something that could bring it into a whole new meaning? Then Thomas the Tank has been around since the 15th century, right? Murder She Wrote in the 19th century, combined with the Thomas the Tank franchise. Then you're finalising it up with The Bill, right? Because that was 1980s. Then you've got Thomas the Tank still running because it's a bigger timeline. So work it out. Let's keep going forward and forward. Star Trek won't even hit yet. So we haven't even discovered that we're going to have warp drive in the future. Or we're going to acknowledge that it's part of Thomas and Tank Connection. Yes, we will establish that. But Star Trek is too far in the future. So when Brainiac 5 told Clark Kent what he said, Brainiac said, and he quotatively said, you can see that the future is just fine, Kal-El. That's what he said, quotatively. Now, the future will always be fine, but it isn't. Not at this present time. Because the diesel team won't drop. The steam team is on standby. So when we look and feel that we've got a higher purpose, we all do. It's just it comes from different angles. If you unbalance it, you screw up. So when we look at ourselves and realise it's realistic, just ask yourself, why do you know these people and why? It starts from the past, obviously, then it goes into the present, then it goes into the future. A lot of people told me, what is happening right now? What have you learned for the last couple of years or a few years back? Uh, If you go back 3 years, establish yourself writing a 5 year essay to say what you see now, what you will see, what do you see, what would you see 5 years from now, what you become. And they establish like an essay, like a big fat essay. because not many people would think about this, and they will say, I know for a very high fact that DC Supergirl is realistic as well. How? People in the real world and reality of everything that's unfolding, they see, they take characters' names like Alex, Kara, and everybody else, and then you realise why is it all connected? Because there's one word that describes everything up. Hope. Hope to give you the benefaction of this. There are a lot of people that have doubts. Don't use your doubts and throwing yourself to darkness because it won't work. It will always driven you back to where you're going to be hatred. You're going to be starting to hate people when there's no hate to give. There's hope all the way round because it's a embodiment of light. So when you got light and dark, what shines out more? The dark is the fade of light. So the light is more powerful. So when you see people try to give out hope, tell them that everything they see is unfolding in front of you. It's a lot to take in one swing. But we always there. But people are, let's say, the Norfolk Railway are abusing their situation. And when you got a beacon of hope standing on the right side of the line saying, we all are on standby, as they say, including myself, you've got the diesel team think they knowing what's unfolding and realising why we got these steam engines for, why we got this, and the answer is staring in front of them. Who's bringing these steam engines in? And they can't work it out, and they can't still work it out. The beacon of hope is to do with me and the steam team. We've been hero of the rails for a very long time. We never backed down. We never had disrespect for no one. You know, a lot of people say the Hatt family exists for one reason. And we all exist because we all take responsibility for every action. Sometimes there's consequences. Some actions that we do is the way we do Beacon of Hope. Because I know half the community out there knows a lot, right? They always said, if it wasn't, let's take it from Superman's point of view so you get a bit of the deal. Who, put your hand up if you all seen Smallville, right? I know I have. Have you? And Smallville, Superman, Supergirl, all of it, even the comic books, are all reality or semi-reality. But with Thomas the Tank, Murder She Wrote, Star Trek, and The Bill, they're all reality. They only just been taking a different concept and anagrammed in and stopping people from harassing us. So what happens? The beacon of hope that you all need. When Clark Kent could not always show his S symbol, if you were like the symbol of hope, S symbol. They right, Clark Kent says, right, I can't go out like a Blur or Superman or whatever red cape, and and Christopher Reeve said nothing is impossible. Right? Believe in the impossible. Because when something has been accomplished in front of your face, accept that nothing is impossible. Believe in the impossible. Because there's a lot of hope. But you have to take it lessons from two superheroes, Superman and the Flash. So when Superman Kingdom Come came along, right, we all know Superman Kingdom Come's timeline, but at the same time, the Hats have risen again. Third generation, myself, Sir Stephen Topham Hatt at your service. So when everybody feels like they are presumed to read Thomas the Tank books and realise it's realistic, there are a lot of facts in there that will explain everything to you. But you're looking at it from the children's eye, not reality. So when you break it all down and see my symbol of hope, you see the hat symbol, you see the family crest, you see it in front of your face, and it's the first thing that hits you, right? That is my beacon of hope, because I'm giving people that the steam team won't back down. The diesel team will never drop down until they boom, boom, boom. What Duck would say, let it play out until they fade out. You know, the best way is to dry their finances out. That's the only one way to get rid of them. You know, that's without harming them, swearing at them, kicking off at them, and everything else. It just needs to be dried out and let them go. Let them go. You know, you have to start fresh to build up. What I see on a web half the time doesn't always applicably aiming at you directly. The community knows what's going on. The whole world knows what's going on. 8 billion people looking at it and realizing beacon of hope. It means something. It means something to the world. And it's a lot to say light defeat dark. And it's a lot harder than what you think. So when we are looking at everything we see, it's all unfolding correctly. So when you got a diesel team and a steam team at at active as they both can be, the Fat Controller can't do nothing right now. The third gen's me, Stephen Topham Hatt the third. So when you think about it, I'm waiting for the diesel team to drop. So when we go forward, it will make sense on a bigger note. So when I say beacon of hope, people will come back commenting, acknowledging that hope is what we are giving out. Hope to give you a better future. Hope for everybody to establish themselves correctly. So when you look at it, it will make sense in the end. Thank you very much, indeed.